It is mild sleep. But the problem with sleep apnea is it's a contrived definition. What they do, they hook you up to so many different bits and pieces. They measure different lines. So you'll see this big bit of paper that goes by all these days, a big section on a screen, so all the way across the screen. And you'll see these lines running along. And the different lines are different things like
oxygen desaturation, CO2 levels, respiratory rate, apneas,
heart rate,
yes,
breathing rate, a huge blood pressure. Yeah, a huge amount of different. Well, they take the blood pressure intermittently.
Yeah,
but a huge amount of these things are running on this dial. And what they do is they do a mathematical plot that if you have so many of these, and there's an equation that they put together to sleep apnea. Now, the problem with anything biological that is being diagnosed by an equation, there are going to be a certain amount of people who probably aren't sleep apnea who are categorized as sleep apneic. And there are going to be some people who aren't sleep apneic who are categorized having the other way around. There's going to be false positives and false negatives. Now, also, clearly, you go for a sleep study and someone's, it's not exactly a normal day, is it? They have got the home kits, though, now. And in fact, they've improved the home kits greatly.
But the other thing is, if you had somebody do a sleep study on their back with their mouth open, breathing hard, you're going to get a totally different AHI index, as opposed to breathing through the nose, on your side, and breathing light. And this could be the same individual going in on a Monday and coming out with their AHI index. And I've seen it. I've seen AHI of 68, which is beyond spectrum. It's severe. Once it goes above 30, it's severe.
Yeah.
I've seen it come down to 8 just by making changes to breathing. And central sleep apnea, obstructive sleep apnea, of course, if the individual is breathing hard, and then if they stop breathing for a period of time, now they breathe hard again, they lose CO2, the neural drive to breathe is reduced, and this initiates a central sleep apnea. So there's a combination of different apneas coming in, which are affected by how you're breathing. And of course, the stopping of the breath.
Yeah. It's it is important issues. It is
simple ways to help.
It's simple, but you've got there's some good. We're not talking about fringe evidence here.
No, it's not.
No, we're not talking fringe evidence. Yes. We're talking about clearly provable things, and these are against a theory of nothing. The backdrop is there's no other suggestions of why these things are connected or why things are happening. Well. So it's not as if we're coming in against a competing theory that is putting the available evidence together in a better manner.
Yes.
We're coming in a desert.
Yes.
Yeah, or an empty space. And people just haven't been... We lack medical theorists. It seems as if you're not allowed to make a suggestion. Everyone's, where's the evidence for this? Where's the evidence for that? And... it doesn't allow us. I think this was the thing with evidence-based medicine. There were loads of cranks. There were loads of crazies out there who had these crazy ideas. And, these snake oil salesmen that caused a lot of harm. And there were probably some, actually, that had some very good ideas. But clearly there were them who make a lot of harm. They also made a lot of money out of it. And I think evidence-based medicine was the reaction to that issue or that problem.
But so evidence-based medicine should support clinical expertise.
It's gone too far, Patrick. It's just gone too far. It's gone way too far. It's gone to the point where you can't say anything now before someone's calling you a quack. I mean, and also I think we're stuck with this old structure of research where we've got people who are you've got structure, you've got the old school network. I'm sorry, if you don't have a mate who's, if you're not friendly or you've got the wrong name, I know, I've been told several times that if a paper with Mew turns up for funding, it's not getting discussed. With Mew on the name, on the titles, it ain't getting discussed. It's not going to get funding. It's not going to happen. I've written to every single teaching establishment, orthodontic teaching establishment twice, or Abid did. I checked, he did it. And we got a couple of leads, but it will go nowhere. It's always gone nowhere. People don't normally bother responding to my mails, my phone calls, my hellos, whatever. And so this old boy network it's where the research funding is being spent. And that's how it's always been done. So this form of spending has, I went off on a rant at that point, yes, as I do against orthodontists, so I have to correct that one.
Well, ultimately...
Wait, let me come back, because I wanted to say my point. I don't think we're spending our research money as effectively as we could. Mm-hmm. At the moment, research money tends to go through hospitals and universities, and they are they're heavily influenced the people who allocate funding. Now, I put on my Facebook page in the mornings, and I frequently see people's dinners passing by. Now, I spot something here. People are giving away information that, if you put it all together, could teach a lot mm-hmm. here. Now, the way I thought it was supposed to work was that the average practitioner, the average qualified practitioner of any recognized speciality, and Buteyko isn't, I think, greatly at the moment, yes. But I'm a specialist orthodontist, that's a recognized speciality. So if I had a concern, or I had a hunch, or I have a something, then I contact my local teaching hospital, my local research establishment, and I encourage them, or I highlight it to them, and they then look into it. Mm-hmm. You know, that is how I think it should work.
Yes.
And that's the way it should logically go. Mm-hmm. Now, I think we've got another player in the field here, and that's the general public. And so, you know, we need to make this completely open, because yes. if people are sharing pictures of their food every day, there's a lot of people out there who we could recruit to find things out.
Yes. Yes.
Really, because I think people would really help mm-hmm. if they knew it was a good mm-hmm. cause. Now, mm-hmm. clearly, you're going to get in hugely biased groups. So, yeah, this is the clear error in such a system. But because it could be set up relatively easily with the modern technology, we could, at least we'd learn something.
Well, you know what? If it works for 50,000 people, we have to find out why is it working, and if it's a subset, who is this subset? So if it works for 50,000, it's going to work for another 50,000.
When you said if it's going to work for you, you mean you have got it to work for 50,000? Or let's say you would take
if 50,000 people report benefit,
even if they were a biased group,
results,
even
yes,
if they were a biased
still
group, it's still 50,000 people.
It's a large group.
It's still a large group, and you know we've got to get our numbers to this level.
Yes.
That's the beauty of modern technology.
Yeah.
So I come up with an idea. I have a hunch. I go to my local university. They do the research. They do the background. They tell me what other people have come up with things in this area before. I have a good guess with them. We set some hypotheses up. We see if we can break it down. Mm-hmm. I then engage with social media directly to the public, and we see if we can start finding answers. We find people interested in sharing images of their dinner every day, three meals a day, and we can look at this more seriously.
Yes, I think so. And I really feel, in terms of nose breathing, it's common sense. There's no side effects, and you can experience the benefits very, very quickly. 20 years I had my mouth open. Within 1 week, I felt a really significant difference in my breathing from my lungs and my alertness when I woke up in the morning. And that was after 20 years. So you've nothing to lose by putting such simple stuff into practice. Yeah. And by the way, Mike, every medical textbook will talk about the functions of the nose. Like, the nose is not just the two holes in the face. This is just normal medical physiology. The problem is there's not enough awareness of the benefits of using it.
Yeah. I really lost our way. We've thrown the information out. You know, some good ideas. Our ancestors, wives' tales. Yeah. Okay, Patrick. Listen, thank you very much.